live interviews with leaders in our community that are doing just that. Some are individuals, some represent organizations. Tonight, I am pleased to introduce you to Charla Burnett, who is with Organizing Together. Actually, you started the Organizing Together. Charla, thanks so much for joining us. What is Organizing Together?
Organizing Together is a developmental collective founded on the principles of experiential learning and participatory decision making. Our goal is to bring together technical experts in an array of different fields so that we can support small businesses, nonprofits, and government agencies to scale and build more resilient communities.
And you're doing something special because of the opportunities with COVID-19. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my background was with refugee and migrant rights. I used to work in refugee camps. And I realized that a lot of the conflicts that I've seen between immigrants and native residents had to do with resource allocation. And so today with COVID-19, obviously one of the biggest problems that we're seeing is the inability to redistribute resources quickly and effectively. And that's kind of how mutual aid was created, was by Indigenous communities who had to depend on one another instead of a government or a greater body institution. So I decided to help people across Michigan and the country better facilitate mutual aid by building a platform on our Organizing Together app that allows the people to contribute, but also learn about mutual aid and how they can create mutual aid workflows. And I'm actually partnered with a company in the UK called Freely Giving, and we're developing a mutual aid platform that will be out in a couple of weeks that will allow organizations and individuals to be able to make offers of services or material goods, and then individuals make requests. And it helps them pair these, evaluate them so that we can actually tell policymakers where we have the most need and what resources need to be distributed.
And so that's kind of the heart of it, is where is the need and how do we distribute the resources to that area of need? So give me an example of maybe a project that you're working on.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of different projects. One of them is we're partnered with Power and Passion, which is another great organization you should probably reach out to. They help returning citizens on parole or from prison, be able to better understand their parole requirements. And when they do fulfill their parole requirements, that they're rewarded for that, as it can be quite difficult. We also work with the Fledge on an array of different projects. One of them is our Community Resiliency Project that was also born out of COVID-19. And that's focused on social equity, food security, waste management, and sustainable energy. And so we're partnering and building coalitions with organizations around Lansing in the hopes that Lansing can kind of be an inspiration for the rest of the country one day in regards to resiliency.
And if I'm correctly saying this, if there is somebody out there in need of a service, you can sort of connect them with somebody that can also help them.
Yeah, and I helped to create the workflow for the Lansing Area Mutual Aid Organization. And if you want to request services, you can go to them or you can make an offer. And their website is lansingmutualaid.org/together.
And we can probably get it through your website too, which I'm putting up there. I visited your website and there is a section of how to file unemployment papers, the state of Michigan update. So it's kind of like this central location, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, that people can go to get resources and information.
Yeah, it seems a bit overwhelming sometimes when you're looking, and all of the places that people normally go to are overwhelmed right now. So we really have to focus on diversifying where resources are being distributed.
Well, I love that because oftentimes you're not even sure where to start. you're not even sure how to do it. I mean, I've had friends actually call me and say, I need help with this unemployment form. I have no idea how to do it. And you're somewhat technical, which cracks me up because I'm really not, but I'm able to help them, walk through it. So you've got that on your website. What's it like seeing that you are making such a big difference and you're able to connect people? That must be pretty amazing for you.
I've been enjoying it. It's a lot of work, but it's the work that I love. What is really inspirational is all of the individual volunteers and program coordinators across all the organizations and small businesses that we work with. Really, it's all of them doing the legwork for this. All I'm doing is just making those connections through technology.
I ask everyone this. Charla, tell me something good.
Yeah, and we spoke a little bit about this before. Most of the work that we do is here in Lansing, but I also have had a number of individuals request if I could help with them outside of Michigan. So we had a woman in Detroit who was very close to her due date, and she was unable to leave her home to get groceries for her children. Her babysitter wasn't able to come anymore. They had to quarantine because they had a sick family member. And she had been unable to work for a few weeks prior to the pandemic beginning. So she was already kind of struggling financially. She felt very overwhelmed. And she had tried to find the resources in Detroit, but because they don't have the same kind of house of all these different organizations, she stumbled upon ours and asked if I might be able to help find someone to deliver groceries to her house. Yeah. And so I kind of reached out on Facebook, hoping that someone might be in her area, although I don't know very many people personally in Detroit. And a gentleman that I went to high school with reached out and said, I live right there. I can go to the store and pick up some groceries. So as we were coordinating that over a day and a half, as he went out to pick up the groceries, she messaged me and said she went into labor. Huh. And that her eldest son would be at the door waiting for the groceries, and that she was just so pleased that she knew that her kids were going to have groceries while she was in the hospital delivering her new son. Wow. And so it was just really beautiful to be there for her. She didn't have anybody. Nobody was allowed to go to the hospital with her for her delivery. So I kind of stayed on the phone with her and talked with her for a while. And she sent me pictures of her son. And we stay in touch, and it makes everyone feel better to know that they have a neighbor that cares about them. And I really believe that is, what mutual aid is all about. And it's hopefully going beyond just COVID, and will continue to increase the number of interactions between neighbors so that we can become more comfortable in a community together.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing. You're doing good. You're passing kindness forward. I know it's a lot of work, but communication and network is so important, especially during these times. Charla, thanks so much for joining us tonight and taking time out.
Oh, thank you, Bob.
And if you'd like more information, otconsultancy.org. We've been scrolling your website. So Charla, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if you'd like more information, of course, you can visit epiphanynow.org or go to Facebook. Like us on Facebook, join our Facebook group, and share your good news. We'll be back tomorrow night with another leader with more information on how they're passing kindness forward.